All right, let's talk about Drake Maye continuing to find ways to win football games. This one maybe not quite as clean as some other games, but hey, a win is a win against kind of a desperate Falcons team who really needed to get on the win column themselves. Maye did have a pair of turnovers in this game, so we'll talk about those plays and what went wrong, but we'll also talk about what went right, how they were ultimately able to put up 24, which was one more point than they needed to, I guess, the exact amount of points they needed to beat the Falcons. Let's get into it. Starting off this play, which is, I love these types of plays. So it's a man coverage concept. You're going to have the halfback run a wheel route, which is already a good route because, linebacker is going to have to go back and play coverage. And Jalen Walker is not your usual linebacker. He was drafted by Atlanta in part because of his freak athleticism. However, what's interesting about this play is this is not a halfback who is lined up as a halfback here. It's Demario Douglas, who ended up having a huge day, 100 receiving yards for Douglas in this game. I love these concepts. I remember Josh McDaniels. I remember the Patriots doing this back when back when Aaron Hernandez was there. He would do this a lot. If you came into this expecting an Aaron Hernandez reference, good for you, I suppose. But yes, they did it. That was a thing back then. Watch how here when Drake London takes the snap, you see Demario Douglas. It's not even like that open, but again, as a linebacker, you're just out in space. You have a wide receiver who can potentially run past you. That's going to be what Maye does. And for Walker, really, he's mostly drafted to be an edge player. I know he can play off ball too. He did that a lot in college, but that's just not a good matchup for Atlanta. And I love doing this. And I always kind of feel like as a defense, if you see a wide receiver there, don't just, it's an obvious passing situation, or I guess close to obvious passing at second down and 8. Not totally obvious passing situation, but still play it out as though he's a receiver, not as though he's a running back. I think that's usually the move. We also saw just some Drake Maye stuff in this one. Maye's always used his legs effectively, in the pros, and we're seeing it again here. Watch how he takes the snap, edge rusher drops back into coverage, but because of that, containment has kind of been given up. An interior defensive lineman tries to get around the edge. That doesn't go well. Here, you do have more pressure coming towards Maye, but watch Maye really break that tackle, gets through, and even here, there isn't really space. Atlanta's done a good job of putting themselves in position to make these plays. Granted, the Atlanta player you see in space, this is Arnold Ebiketie, an edge rusher who dropped back into coverage on this play, so not exactly his skill set making open field tackles. And watch Maye just take advantage of that. He runs forward, picks up the first down. Now, does not protect himself, and that is, again, that's been an ongoing trend with Maye, as he is not someone who protects himself. He puts himself in harm's way. So really good stuff to get the first down, although, again, as a Patriots fan, I think you'd rather have him not get the first down and keep himself healthy than take the hit. But again, you kind of like that he's still willing to take the hits, right? Even if you understand that maybe he's going to have to protect himself at some point. Some nice throws here, too. This one, it's a one-on-one matchup towards the top of the screen. Hunter Henry right here. And you notice that, again, Atlanta trying to fool New England. So what they do here is they're going to have the player lined up on Henry actually drop back and beat a free safety. Someone who's at the line will cover Henry. Watch as when Maye takes the snap and ultimately fires this ball there. Has to go off balance a little bit as well, or at least feels like he does, to make this angle work. So not a lot of separation, throwing it off balance, and yet the throw is perfect. Also a nice grab by Hunter Henry to hang on to that one, and they're able to still pick up a first down on 3rd and 7. So that's a big play, right? Those are kind of like turnovers in a sense. The field position, not so much, but the keeping possession is. So that's a big deal between having to give the ball to the other team and keeping the ball in your hands. Being able to convert on 3rd downs is a lot of times the difference. This play, another key 3rd down and 8 right here. It's one-on-one matchups across the board. So, one thing that I think we saw the Patriots really struggle with last season was when teams did this, when teams tried to play man coverage, guys just couldn't get open. And while, yes, I think adding Stephon Diggs has been a big piece, I think in a lot of ways, what adding someone like Stephon Diggs has done is it's just given everyone else an easier matchup. Now you have Demario Douglas in the slot. He doesn't have to try and beat number 1 corners. He can beat number 3 corners. Watch him when this play begins, gets inside leverage, uses his speed to get past the receiver, the corner he's going up against, and offensive line does a good job blocking. There's space here for Maye. Maye makes a perfect throw down the field, which he tends to do. Douglas really stumbling a lot, making some guys miss. I'll have to pause this just for copyright reasons for a little bit right here. But then you see, it's funny where he gets hit, and that kind of like gets him on balance for a second before he finally gets tripped up and falls. So that was funny. But ultimately, really good stuff here from Douglas, and really good stuff here from Maye. Now heading over here, as I mentioned, like this was not a perfect performance from Maye, and this is something that I think that his first year we would see a lot of volatility. He turned the ball over a lot, but then also make a lot of nice plays, and it's sort of like, okay, you're getting up and down. This year he's been much better at preventing the bad plays. Only 4 interceptions on the year, and even if you look at like turnover worthy plays, he's a little bit worse there, but still tied for 12th among the 39 eligible players, so still certainly good in that aspect, but had a couple of mistakes in this one. First, this play, which game situation has to matter here. You're up 14 with 32 seconds left in the half. Like, you've had a great half. You get the ball to start the second half. You're in a great spot. Maye takes the snap, and the Falcons are going to run a stunt. This is actually a little bit reminiscent of the Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl on the other way when the Patriots ran a stunt and were able to get a sack on Matt Ryan that helped push him out of field goal range after the Julio Jones catch. Here, Maye sees there's pressure. Take the sack. You're fine. Go into the half up 14 points. That's just what you have to do in this spot. Maye's going to try and do too much. Sticks his left hand out for a stiff arm, misses it. Now the ball isn't protected. It gets picked up, nearly scoop and scored, but ultimately was still leading to a Falcons touchdown that put the Falcons back in the game. And that's just a bad mistake in a position you can't make that mistake in. Take the sack, keep 2 hands on the ball. If you're in the pocket and pressure doesn't come from the blind side, and really even if it does, if you're in the pocket and you're not in the throwing motion and you lose the football because you only had 1 hand on it, that's a mistake. It just is. So mistake there from Maye. The pick here was a little bit weird though, so this was a little bit later on. Again, in a situation, 20 minutes left in the game, up 10 points, just run the offense, get another field goal or so here, and get to the fourth quarter at the end of the drive, and this game feels over. Maye takes the snap. You have a receiver trying to get into a gap in coverage, and it's not the easiest throw. This one can work as Henry's cutting over the middle, and him and Maye just aren't on the same page. Maye thinks Henry is going to continue running down the field, whereas Henry has cut over the middle. Because of that, this ends up getting picked. Honestly, either one of those options would have been fine, but they're just not on the same page. And if they were on the same page, that's a conversion. You're in field goal range. Again, you kill at least another couple minutes. Maybe you kill a lot more and get into the end zone and completely ice it. Instead, that allowed Atlanta to get back into it. So, yeah, some really good stuff here. Got to cut down on those mistakes, especially, you would assume, Tampa Bay next week, can't be making those mistakes against them. And just, hey, the Patriots, look at their record. I get it, they haven't always played the best teams, although they did beat the Bills. But still, they're 7-2. They consistently win games. They play Tampa Bay, which will be a tough game in Tampa Bay. And then you have the Jets, the Bengals, the Giants. They have the Bills again, and the Ravens. Those aren't easy matchups. But then the Jets and the Dolphins again. Even if you lose to the Bills, Ravens, and Buccaneers, there's 5 winnable games. 12 wins feels very much on the table. And hey, if you can win one of those, upset one of those other ones, 13 wins. This is a really impressive season. So, once you're going to get to the postseason, this is the playoff team. There's no debate about that, barring a disaster. Once you get to the playoffs, you got to cut down on these mistakes. But yeah, that's kind of how I view them right now. So those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.